There are 7 seller mistakes that are commonly made as sellers get ready to put their home on the market, which ultimately costs them thousands of dollars. So today we're going to discuss the 9 different ways to overcome them and ensure that you don't make these same mistakes as a seller. So with that, my name is George Moorhead with Bentley Properties. I've been practicing for about 27 years, and we've done over 2,000 residential and commercial transactions. We'll be able to give you some great insights. There's absolutely no cost to this. It's 100% free. And in fact, if you would like, we will post that PDF file up on the site, or we will send it out to you. Just let us know. If you would, hit your little wow button up there and give us an indication that you can see us and hear us, and let us know a little bit about where you're at and what you need, because we lead with generosity. There's a ton of information that we have that is free for you, and you get it all. All right, so with that, let's get going. 7 most common mistakes made by a seller. We refined this list down to what we consider some of the most common mistakes, kind of in their order. So the first one is failing to analyze why you are moving. Now, some of you might say, George, come on. We know why we're moving. Well, actually, most people don't. They think they know, but they say, oh, you know what? I just need a bigger house. Okay, well, they don't fully take a look at, okay, so why do you need a bigger house? What does that mean to you? What does that mean, again, for the future, so that you are not a few years into it realizing, oh, I didn't get the right space, or we didn't get enough of the yard that we needed, or we didn't get enough of the storage or bedrooms, or, you know, the main family areas, because many times when there's no furniture in it, a home seems a lot bigger. And what then they realize is they did not fully account for what they needed. Same thing when they downsize. Many times people downsize way too far. In other words, sometimes people will be living in a 4,000 square foot house and they say, you know what, George, I'm going to go down to 1,500 square feet. I'm going to go down to 1,000 square feet. And I say, hey, time out here. That's a little bit of a culture shock. And what they end up finding out is actually that is too small. They need something between 15 and they think 1,800 square feet. They're like, no, George, I want smaller. Then they realize it's too small because there's not enough for what they still do, what their activities are, what their family dynamics are. So keep that in mind. And this is why it's up there. Most people fail to fully analyze what they're intending to do, what their goal is by moving up or moving down. The second one, they don't prepare their home for their buyer's eye. And sometimes this comes in with pictures. Sometimes it's just, you know, not staging properly. Sometimes it's not staging at all. Many times it's, you know, you got to do the paint. You need to, you know, clean your house. If you've got critters, you need to get rid of the critter smells. Have somebody who doesn't have critters come into your house and say, you smell critters. And many times people come over and say, hey, George, can you smell my house? I say, yeah, you have 2 dogs. They're like, really? I said, yeah, you can smell them, and here's 2 different tracks, right? So anyway, make sure that you're doing all of the things for the buyer's eye, not your eye, the buyer's eye. Purge out all of those things in your closet. Look, you're going to be moving. So you might as well start packing it up now. In fact, we have a moving package for you that has labels that say, you know, bedroom, you know, kitchen, and it's not just one, it's multiple labels, and then of course box labels, so that you know, hey, pack this one first because we don't need it. Pack this one last because we're going to need it. If you need that, let us know. We'll go ahead and we'll send one off to you. It's got, gosh, I want to say there's like 400 labels in there for the different rooms, so you can label your boxes. So at a glance, you can see what they are. With that, also make sure that you're painting. If you've got scuffed up walls, it happens. We live in our houses. I get it. But don't make your house immediately the perception of a fixer. Don't make them walk in and say, it's a really nice house, but you know, I got to spend about $3,000 or $4,000 painting the house. That becomes a fixer. Don't do that. Get it ready. Don't take the can of paint that you had 5 years ago and go and touch up and expect it to look the same, because it won't. It's going to be oxidized. The paint on your wall has oxidized. It just changed colors. And therefore, you need to basically, if you can, get a chip of heat, pull a wall plate or something, get something 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, take it to my buddies at Sherwin-Williams there in Bothell or in Bellevue or even in Redmond, and get a color match. All right, get something that is going to be a match. If you pull out that old can, even if you shake it, it will not match. I'm just telling you. So don't go up and do a bunch of little paintbrush touch-ups, because when you step back and look at it, you say, oh, it'll change color when it dries. No, it won't. It's going to look different. So don't do that. If you need painters, BentleyContractors.com. There's a couple of painters in there. Call them. Just tell them we sent you. You get my pricing. All right. So other things, clean your carpet. Maybe it's time to replace your carpet. You have access to our accounts at Contractors Furnishing Mart under my name. And in fact, if you remember my name, George Moorhead, there's a guy there that works with the same name, George Moorhead. Oh, who thought of that? So he's the guy I refer business to, because he also knows us, and we kind of laugh. He's like my older brother from a different mother, literally, right? Okay, so those are things you need to start keeping in mind. If you need more ideas, there's no strings attached. Just let us know. We'll come by. We'll take a look at it. Get yourself prepared for the buyer's eye, all right? Okay, not setting the price correctly. Hey, listen, okay, we all feel, all of us, that our homes are worth more than everybody else's, especially if we've done some recent updates or what we consider recent. So understand, a recent update is within the last 12 months, really the last 6 to 12 months, okay? If you had done a kitchen update 3 years ago, okay, it's not really, I mean, it is updated, but it's not quite as updated as current trends, but they always change, okay? Now, understand, we have what's called sentimental equity, all right? And the sad part is there's no value for sentimental equity, because the buyer doesn't have that same sentiment. They don't have that, oh, my family's been here for a while. Oh, I put so much time and effort into this. Oh, this has been such a great house. Oh, we did these things. I understand that. I get it. However, there's zero value in that. Sorry, I don't mean to rain on your parade. You need to be objective. So understand, statistically speaking, and it's funny because, some people will challenge me on this, and then I show them the numbers and they're like, oh my gosh, you're right. Okay, I've been doing this long enough, and we monitor the metrics long enough. Here's how it is. If your home sells within the first 7 days, you're going to get between 100 and 107% of list price. Okay? If you miss that mark, you got to 20 days, you're only going to see 98, 96% of original list price. If you miss that mark and you go out 40 days, you're only going to look at 92 to 93% of original list price. So understand, time on market has an absolute impact on the net dollar you're going to receive. So as I like to sometimes say, if your sentimental equity has a zero value, how much of that zero value do you want to spend on market? So please keep that in mind. All right. Okay. Selling during, okay. Many sellers like to sell the home during a showing, whether it's with a buyer or whether, if they're doing a for sale by owner, or if there's an agent there. Oh man, they sell their house. They tell them about all of the things. And don't do that. All right. Don't do that. So understand, like many of the clients, buyer clients that we work with, you're gonna like the home on its own merits. Understand that. All the words in the world are not going to fix it. Now, we can do some things to highlight certain special amenities in the home. Perfect. But the hard selling that a lot of times that, sellers, because their heart's in the right place, I get it. But the problem is it's a takeaway. It is a takeaway coming from you. There needs to be a neutral third party that actually puts that out. That neutral third party could be a little card denoting it. You could put a little comment there. You can have a feature sheet that details things out a little bit more so they can learn about it without your input. Because when you add your input, most of the time it is not taken in, it's taken with a grain of salt. So don't do that. Leave it alone. Let the people go through the home and understand that they're going to like the home on its own merits. All right. Let's see here. Signing a long-term agreement without any performance guarantees. Okay. When you list home with some agents do not have performance guarantees. They don't have skin in the game. So they're not really held accountable. I mean, if the home doesn't sell, oh, okay, so we'll just cancel the listing. That's not a performance guarantee. They need skin in the game. What happens if the home doesn't sell? What happens if the home doesn't sell at the price that they recommend? There are a number of agents that what we call, they will buy a listing. They will give you this absolutely fabulous number that you're going to go, yes, I want that. And that's why we call them AA active, which is our wish list, right? But that doesn't translate down to the P or the S for sold, which means that's where the tire hit the pavement. So even if you look at this and it might look like a great number, if other people are saying, no, your home is priced in this range, not this range, take that into consideration, because all the other guys can do is beat you down with price reductions, which adversely affects your perception of buyers in the market. Okay? Coming on market correctly the first time is without a doubt the best thing you can do. Have performance guarantees from the person you're working with so that they have skin in the game. All right? Perfect. Moving on. Okay. Making it difficult to get information on your home. Okay. Most agents and a lot of people, they'll put it in the Northwest MLS if they're an agent. And that's pretty much the extent of it, sadly enough. And then you have, if you have a for sale by owner, they'll put a basic feature sheet out there. And it's just not enough. You need to be able to provide information so that as buyers are coming by and taking a look at your home, both when you're not there, that they can get all of the information that they need. If you want a list of what information is recommended, we'll post it for you. But typical things, the typical size, special amenities, bedrooms, baths, school district. What are the demographics for the area? Do you have any crime type reports that you can? Just call your police station, you can get that. Other types of metrics that they're going to look for are going to be things like, have you done a recent update for your furnace? Has your septic system been pumped? Has your roof been replaced? What's the life expectancy of your roof? You just had a presidential roof put on 10 years ago. You say, hey, look, man, you got 40 more years here. That's great. All right. So make sure that you are making all information available, but also in a very neutral format. If you're thinking that putting a piece of paper out there is going to accomplish your goal, that's kind of old school. That's the 1960s real estate. There are other alternatives that are more effective and more efficient, because understand, as buyers are looking at 15, 20 different homes, they grab a little feature sheet that this time of year is going to be soaking wet. They're going to throw it in the back, or they're going to, they're not going to remember anything. So make sure that there's other mediums in which re-engage with them so that they remember your home, and it gives you an opportunity to communicate with them. All right? Okay. Failing to get pre-approved for their next home? You would be surprised. Most people get caught up on getting their home ready for sale, but they don't go through the process of getting pre-approved themselves. And it's actually more common than you think. And it's understandable. But now that you're watching this video, step back. Make sure that you are getting yourself pre-approved. The reason is they may be saying, you know what? I've got equity in my house. I've made my payments all the time. I pay all my payments all the time. But yet they'll get into it, and all of a sudden their credit score is not quite where they need it to be. Maybe it's a past credit bureau that's giving them a little bit of conflict. Maybe their debt to income ratio is just not quite where they need it to be for where they want to go. There's a number of different factors that you need to consider yourself as you become the buyer. And there's a whole new set of rules that you need to conform to, that you need to follow those guidelines. So with that, make sure that you get pre-approved. You want a list of quality, competent, highly professional, share the same professional ethics and standards that we do. We'll post those for you. Just ask for them, but we'll post them. Marie will post them for you. She's good at posting stuff for me. Thanks, Marie. Anyway, with that, if you have any questions, post them up in the corner, text us, email us. We answer a lot of questions every single week. Again, there's no strings attached. Our goal is to lead, lead with generosity, give you what you need so you can make the best business decision for you and your family. All right. So again, 7 most common seller mistakes. These translate into not just tens of thousands, but $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. Buying the wrong house is a $30,000 to $50,000 mistake. And people say, that's impossible. And I'm like, no, it's not. Just understand, our state has an excise tax. There's a sales tax. And even though it's graduated now, understand that is a big number. And it used to be 1.78%. It has now gone up for most people. You need to understand that's a huge selling cost. So on average, it takes you about 2.5%, 2.75% without any real estate brokers involved at all to sell your home. If you add a real estate broker on top of that, those costs go up. So understand, buying the wrong home will cost you tens, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. So make sure you have a good plan in place. Make sure you follow these to make sure that you have the best home in the buyer's eyes and you've done your homework so you are right spot on with pricing, with logistics, and making sure that you know where you're going. Just saying. So with that, if you have any questions, again, let us know. My name is George Moorhead. Hope you share this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Thanks.